Right now, while you're watching this, while you're going about your day, while you're doing something completely ordinary and probably not thinking about them at all, someone is lying in bed at 3 in the morning with their eyes open, replaying you, not thinking about you, replaying you. Like footage, frame by frame, the exact way you looked when you said that thing last week, the specific angle of your head when you laughed, the moment your eyes caught theirs and held for 1 second longer than normal, and that 1 second has been living in their chest ever since, like a splinter they can't reach. They've replayed it so many times that the memory has more detail now than the original moment did. They've zoomed in, slowed it down, added emotional resolution that their brain was too overwhelmed to capture in real time. And every single time they replay it, it gets worse. Not duller, worse, sharper, more vivid, more consuming. The obsession is not fading with repetition, it is deepening. And they are starting to realize that this is not a phase they're going to sleep off. This is a condition. And you are the cause. Okay, so I literally had to stop what I was doing to record this because the energy on this one is not playing around. I'm Stella Love, Tarot with Stella. Subscribe if you're new because we stay busy around here. Real quick, only take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You know how we do. Now let me get into this because, oh my gosh, I have been waiting to tell somebody this all day. Let me tell you what 3 in the morning looks like for this person. Because it's become a ritual they didn't choose. They go to bed at a normal time, they close their eyes, they do the thing where you try to think about nothing and then you show up, not as a coherent thought, as a sensation, a warmth in their chest that starts small and spreads. The ghost of your voice saying something ordinary, the phantom feeling of standing next to you, and the specific way the air changes temperature when you're close. And once it starts, it doesn't stop. Their brain opens the archive, this massive, meticulously organized, obsessively curated archive of every interaction they've had with you, and begins playing selections, not chronologically, thematically. All the times you touched them, played back to back. All the times you laughed at something they said, compiled into a highlight reel that makes them feel funnier and more interesting than they've ever felt in their actual life. All the times your guard dropped for a fraction of a second and they saw something raw and real underneath, and the privilege of that glimpse felt like being admitted to a room that nobody else has keys to. And I need to be specific about what they're replaying because the details are what make this reading hit. There's one moment in particular that they return to more than any other. It was not a big moment. It was not dramatic. It might have been a single sentence. You said something honest, something unguarded, something that fell out of your mouth before your filter caught it. And they were the only person in the room who registered its weight. Everyone else heard words. They heard a window opening, a brief, accidental glimpse into a part of you that you usually keep shuttered. And in that moment, they thought, there you are, the real one. And ever since they've been chasing that version, every interaction is now an attempt to make the window open again, to get another glimpse of who you are when you forget to curate. And the rarity of those glimpses, the fact that you don't just hand out the real version to anyone, is what makes each one more valuable than the last. They are collecting your unguarded moments the way people collect things they can't bear to lose. I keep getting the number 5 pulsing through this reading. 5 is obsessive desire, restlessness, the inability to settle because something has disrupted the equilibrium that used to exist before you entered their life. 5 is the number of someone standing at a crossroads, the old life where they slept through the night and the new life where you live in their chest at 3 in the morning. They can't go back to the old one. They're terrified of fully entering the new one, and so they stand in the hallway between sleep and surrender, replaying you on a loop, getting more obsessed with each rotation. I'm picking up the initials M or S connected to this person. And for some of you, it could be a K or a D. If those initials mean something, drop them in the comments right now because the energy on these is aggressive. Now, let me tell you who you are to them because you need to understand you are not someone they have a crush on. A crush is surface. A crush responds to treatment. You take some distance, you distract yourself, the crush fades. What they have is not a crush. What they have is an infiltration. You got into their operating system without either of you knowing it was happening, and now you are running in the background of every thought, every decision, every interaction with every other person. They compare constantly, automatically, without choosing to. That person's laugh versus your laugh, that person's eye contact versus your eye contact, that person's presence versus your presence. And the comparison is never even close. Everyone else is a photocopy. You're the original. And once someone has held the original, every photocopy feels flat and slightly wrong in a way they can't unsee. Let me describe what you do to them physically, because it's not normal attraction, it's somatic. You have changed the way their body operates. Their pulse does something specific when your name appears on a screen, not a flutter, a reorganization. Their breathing pattern shifts when you enter a room, deeper, slower, like their lungs recognized you before their eyes did. There's a heat that starts at the base of their spine when you stand close enough to touch, and it spreads upward until their entire back is humming with an awareness so acute it borders on painful. They've started noticing things about you that they didn't consent to noticing. The specific veins in your forearms, the exact architecture of your collarbones, the way your throat moves when you swallow, the micro movements of your lips when you're thinking but not speaking, a barely perceptible parting, a slight press, a movement so small that noticing it means they were watching your mouth with an attention that terrifies them because it reveals exactly how far gone they actually are. I'm getting strong Scorpio and Cancer energy around this person. Water signs, emotional depth, they don't advertise. Intensity, they learn to bury under composure because showing it in the past got them hurt. For some of you, this person carries heavy Capricorn energy, the one who keeps score internally, who processes at a geological pace, who feels things 6 months before they admit them. That delay between feeling and admitting is why they're at 3 in the morning instead of at your door. They felt this months ago. They're only now allowing themselves to acknowledge it. And the acknowledgement is arriving not as a gentle understanding, but as a flood months of suppressed feeling breaking through the dam simultaneously and drowning them in their own bed in the dark. For some of you, I'm picking up physical impressions. Someone whose face carries tension, they think they're hiding a muscle in their jaw that pulses when they're holding something back, a tightness around their eyes that only relaxes when they think nobody's watching. Dark features for many of you, deep brown eyes that hold conversations their mouth refuses to have. For others, it's lighter, something sharp and angular about their face, with eyes that shift between cold and molten, depending on who they're looking at. With you, they're always molten. They just look away before you can see it. There's something about their hands large, specific, the kind of hands that communicate more through a single touch than most people communicate in a paragraph. They've imagined those hands on you in ways that would make them physically incapable of maintaining eye contact with you if you knew about it. Now, let me tell you what happens during the replay at 3 in the morning, because it follows a pattern, and the pattern is escalating. It starts with the innocent moments, the shared jokes, the casual conversations, the times you were just existing in the same space, and the ease of that coexistence was so natural it felt like breathing. They replay these moments and feel a warmth that is almost manageable, almost comfortable, almost something they could label as fondness and file away and go back to sleep. But they don't go back to sleep because the innocent moments are the gateway drug, and once the archive opens, it pulls them deeper into the moments that carry charge. The time your leg pressed against theirs under a table and neither of you moved. The time you held eye contact for a beat too long and the air between you became something you could almost taste. The time you said their name in a tone you don't use for anyone else, lower, more deliberate, almost private, as if their name in your mouth was a different word than their name in anyone else's mouth. These charged moments replay with a sensory detail that borders on hallucination. They can feel the heat of the contact. They can hear the exact frequency of your voice. Their body responds to the memory with the same intensity it responded to the actual event. And this is where 3 in the morning becomes a problem. Because the body doesn't know the difference between remembering and experiencing. And their body is experiencing you on a nightly basis in a bed you've never been in. And the loneliness of that, wanting someone with your entire physical system while they exist only as memory and projection, is a specific kind of torture that they would never describe to another human being, because the vulnerability required to say, I lie awake, reliving the way she said my name, would dismantle every piece of composure they've spent their life constructing. And then the replay goes deeper still, into territory they've never entered with anyone else. They imagine a future, not the fantasy version, the lived-in version. They imagine you in their kitchen at 7 in the morning doing something that should be mundane but is devastating in its domesticity, pouring coffee, reading something on your phone, wearing their shirt, existing in their space like you belong there. They imagine a fight with you, a real one, not performative, the kind where you both say what you actually mean and the room gets heavy and the silence afterward is loaded, and then one of you breaks it with something honest and the repair is more intimate than the harmony ever was. They imagine growing old with you, not metaphorically, literally, your face changing, your hair changing, the years accumulating on your body and theirs, and the accumulation being the opposite of loss, being evidence, proof that they chose and kept choosing. That Tuesday morning, after Tuesday morning, they woke up and recommitted to the same person. They imagine that constancy, and the thought of it makes them grip the pillow next to them in the dark because the pillow is not you and they want it to be you, with a desperation that has abandoned all dignity. And then the replay goes somewhere that scares them more than the desire does, into tenderness, into the moments where what they felt wasn't want but care. They replay the time they noticed you were tired, really tired, not the kind you mentioned, but the kind that lives in the bones, and they wanted to take something off your plate so badly that their hands ached with the uselessness of not being allowed to help. They replay the time you were sad and trying to hide it, and they could see the effort, and the effort broke their heart more than the sadness itself, because it meant you'd learn that nobody wants to hold your heavy, and so you hold it alone. They replay these moments of witnessed vulnerability, and the feeling that surfaces isn't obsession, it's devotion. The quiet, unannounced, unperformed devotion of someone who has decided that your comfort matters more than their own. And they didn't decide this consciously, and they can't undo it. And at 3 in the morning, this devotion feels like the most honest thing they've ever carried. The jealousy at 3 in the morning is its own category of suffering, because at 3 in the morning, the rational brain is offline and the reptilian brain runs the show. And the reptilian brain does not do nuance. It does not do she's allowed to talk to other people. It does possession. Pure, undiluted, unevolved possession. They lie in the dark and their brain serves them images, you laughing with someone else, you leaning into someone else, you looking at someone else the way they want you to look at them. And the physical response to these manufactured images is violent. Their chest constricts, their jaw locks, their fists clench in sheets that are already twisted from restlessness. And they know in the rational part of their brain that is barely functioning that they have no right to feel this, that you have made them no promises, that you probably don't lie awake replaying them with anywhere near this intensity. And the asymmetry of that wanting someone more than they want you, needing someone who might not need you at all, is the thing that makes 3 in the morning feel like the loneliest hour on earth. I keep getting the number two connection, mirror, the number that says this obsession is not one sided, even if it feels that way. Your energy is responding to theirs, even if you haven't identified it consciously. There are moments you might have noticed them where they cross your mind for no reason, where you pick up your phone to text someone and their name surfaces before anyone else's, where you catch yourself wondering what they're doing at this exact moment. That's the tether. That's the two in the number two. What's happening at 3 in the morning on their end has an echo on your end. It's quieter, less consuming, but it's there and it's growing. And I need to tell you what the 3 in the morning sessions are doing to their daytime life because the obsession isn't staying contained to the dark hours, it's leaking. They're distracted at work in a way they've never been. Their friends have noticed a change, a new quietness, a tendency to drift mid conversation, a phone that gets checked with a frequency and an intensity that suggests they're waiting for something specific. They are. They're waiting for you, for any signal from you, a text, a like, a story view, any digital breadcrumb that confirms you exist and that you're thinking about them even a fraction as much as they're thinking about you. And when the breadcrumb arrives, when you text something casual, something that took you 4 seconds to type, they hold that text like it's a document. They read it multiple times. They analyze the punctuation. They note the response time. They build an entire emotional infrastructure around 11 words and a period. And they know this is not sane behavior. They know that the person you texted is not the person who is currently treating your casual message like scripture. But knowing doesn't stop the behavior. Nothing stops the behavior. You are the only thing that could stop the behavior, and you are also the cause of it. And that circularity is the specific geometry of obsession that has them wide awake at 3 in the morning for the 47th night in a row. And the number 8 appears: abundance, karmic return. Something financial is shifting in your life alongside this emotional current. Money is moving. An opportunity is opening. A creative or professional channel that has been blocked is unblocking, and the timing of this material shift coinciding with the emotional intensity of this reading is not accidental. When the universe moves energy, it moves all of it. Love and abundance arrive in the same season because they operate on the same frequency, receptivity. And you are becoming more receptive than you've been in years. If this is hitting you right now, drop the words 3 a.m. replay in the comments. Like this video and subscribe because what happens in this community is different from anything else on this platform, and I need your energy in here. Now let me bring this home because I need to tell you something you probably don't know about yourself. You are someone's 3 in the morning, not their Saturday night, not their highlight reel. They're 3 in the morning, the hour where the masks are off and the truth is unavoidable, and the only things that surface are the things that matter most. You live in someone's most honest hour, the hour where they can't lie to themselves about what they feel, the hour where every distraction has been stripped away and the only thing left is the raw, undeniable, terrifying truth. I am in love with this person and I have no idea what to do about it. And I know you don't feel like someone's 3 in the morning. I know you look in the mirror and see someone ordinary, someone who wouldn't keep anyone up at night, someone who moves through the world without realizing that their specific combination of qualities, the way they think, the way they care, the way they exist without performance, has burrowed into another person's nervous system so deeply that sleep has become optional, and you have become the only thought that feels like home at the hour when everything else goes quiet. But you are. You are someone's 3 in the morning, and they are running out of darkness to hide it in. Okay, I need you to go receive this now. Stop overthinking it. Stop talking yourself out of it. This is coming for you, and you deserve it, period. If this hit like this video right now, share it with your person, subscribe because I am literally always in here dropping something, and comment below because I read every single one and I want to know who this is about. Okay, go. I love you. Bye.